What is really fighting for our justice? This new moon, the intention was here since time immemorial, but for whatever reason, the intention hid itself, perhaps based on a lack of an energetic reciprocation. I feel like why do something to someone else that you wouldn't want to be done towards you? Because I guess it's just some type of game, and how we're like dealing with this, this distortion. Like how are we gonna fare with a certain collection of distortion that is a lesser part, a separate part of nature, individuated distortions being their own mechanisms, a part of the matrix that are being something of collectors. Because there's a lot of things we could talk about simplicity all we want. We could strive for simple living all we want, but the reality is the system itself isn't simple. The system itself isn't necessarily simplistic. We have to like do different expressions within our elemental natures, and that takes on different types of action formats and formats of actions where we have to reciprocate with a different wholeness, where we could see and work with a different type of simplicity and fluid nature in action, where there's just like some type of distortion that's going on. It's like it's as if nature is testing us, like how are we going to deal with this part of the nature? How are we going to deal with this part, and that being one part of many parts, not just the whole thing, but that part is significant in like, a certain type of corruption within different formats of reality. Formats of reality that could be corrupted is societies, civilizations, individuals within societies and civilizations, and above the society and the civilization is the planet sphere itself. So if there's not like a certain type of reciprocation and like a real harmonic action plan that is like touching upon all the facets of reality and how we could equalize the corruption, which ultimately in a crazy matrix way, nature is, that's just part of the matrix game, is to recognize like how we deal with that throughout time immemorial, is how we have the spiritual resiliency and the spiritual protection to actually rise above it in different nuanced type of ways, just by having the will to do so. We're having the will to put up with this bullshit. We're having the will to have tolerance, to like, find ourselves and not be conditioned in a detrimental, foggy way. We're having the will to actually like, more or less spark some type of real inspiration where, we could actually see what is fair, what is intelligent, and what is just sketch as fuck. 'Cause if no one's gonna say anything, then in like some type of momentum and some type of pattern and some type of sequence and some type of turn of events, then gradually, how do you think realities become desolate to begin with? How do you think realities flourish to begin with? There's different contexts of that, because how someone's grass could be greener, someone's grass could lay desolate on a different land. So there's different pockets within pockets, but like where is the collective pocket heading? Maybe it's a big two, but in between that big two it's a shared one, and that shared one is like it's now it's calling, at this point the intelligence is calling for maximum justice, and I'm calling it maximum justice because we're seeing within the particular light of particular light being the intelligence, we're seeing how there's corruptions and discrepancies of distortion within the system. And if you're not going to voice that, your casual frustration, there's different types of frustrations, obviously. If you're not going to voice that frustration about the system, then how do you expect to have any type of change to begin with? And how do you expect to have any type of resolve to begin with? So it's all about, like, it's a deeper, subtle, energetic reciprocation and intelligence to actually detect and spot what is corrupt and who's ultimately, feeding that corruption on just on a precise, exact, energetic lens. Because that's what nature ultimately wants us to do, because we're working with how nature's providing a little bit of everything, and God is providing nature.